So why turn off ray reconstruction in Cyberpunk? I would turn it off because it has a negative impact on graphics. Let me show you. So currently this scene is without ray reconstruction. Okay, looks nice. And my settings are DLSS super resolution balanced, DLSS sharpness at 0.5, that's the default value, and ray reconstruction off. And all other settings are completely maxed out. Also the path tracing is on. Now I'm going to turn on, first I'm going to show you, look at the screen, I'm going to turn on path ray reconstruction and see if you can see a difference. Can you see a difference? If you see this a difference, my guess is you most likely see it here, those two windows in that wall. Because that area looks sharper. But I think you would agree that it's a pretty small increase in sharpness on the screen in this particular scene. And in really well sunlit situations like this, you probably don't get any negative effect from using ray reconstruction because it promises some denoising and some higher quality upscaling of the image. I'm going to show you the problems with it. Okay, so I've prepared a set of screenshots. Now the first problem is that it paves over the faint soft glow you get from artificial lights in the game. Okay, so here's the first example. That screenshot was made in 1.6.3 before patch 2.0 came out. Notice here that this really elegant soft pink haze and some green-white pink haze over here that extends over here. Okay. The next screenshot is going to be that same haze, but with ray reconstruction off in 2.0. Notice there's already a reduction in it. And now I'm going to show you what happens if you put ray reconstruction on. Notice it's almost completely gone because the denoising or the sharpening of the image is so aggressive it basically cuts out all the soft glow. That's really problematic for these soft light sources that are perfectly finely tuned. And if you move through the game mode slowly like this, you probably can't see it on the screenshot that much, is that it gives this beautiful presence of the light in the scene because you can really feel it's emitting light and there's a plasticity around it. Okay, here's another screenshot of, okay, that's patch 1.6.3. Again, notice here that green, slightly green tinted white blue haze, and then you got the pink haze mixing with that and the yellow stuff coming in. Notice here the neon blue haze over this. Notice how it's this soft, beautiful blend of different light sources. Okay, now with ray reconstruction on in 2.0, notice almost everything is gone because the sharpener basically completely removes it. Notice that El Guapo neon sign, it looks like it's not even an emittive light source in the game mode. See the difference here? And the only thing you get in return is the screen being a bit sharp over here. But I think that the crispest and sharpest possible picture is not the highest goal in getting good graphics. It's more about lighting, shadows, and getting the colors right. Okay, so let's show more pictures. Now I'm going to show you an extreme example that is sort of the opposite of this argument. Okay, now there's a picture with a strong haze. Notice here, ray construction is off. Notice here the industrial lights have this really strong light halo. Now ray construction is on. Now you might say, okay, wait a minute. Ray construction is on, you still get this nice light halo. So what's the problem? See, the problem is on some lights in this game, like these industrial street lights in industrial areas in the game, they're so aggressively prominent with their light shafts that they survive the denoising and the over-sharpening of the screen that the ray reconstruction does. The problem with that is you end up with inner city beautiful neon light areas that are completely devoid of blooming light sources. You only have like flat textures, and the industrial areas are full of light shafts that survive the denoising. Like basically the soft bloom is like a victim of the sharpening, and only the strong bloom survives it. Yeah, what was this? Okay, the second issue is now. I'm going to show you that's ray construction off. Now pay attention to this area over here. Like this almost tricks me into looking photorealistic, like just from the way the light looks. And the reason for that is it's probably almost invisible on the screen, is that notice here you got from the sunrise the overexposed bloom, and it actually is bleeding over into the picture from here. That's an effect of bloom in video games. Notice here you got this slightly orangish haze over here. That's really hard to see. Okay, now the same scene with Reconstruction on. See, off, on. Now at first you notice how it aggressively sharpens the screen. And notice how that orange haze is sort of slightly lost in that area. Now I might say it is an advantage that you get more accurate shadows in the edges over here. That's a good point. However, it also gives the screen this over-sharpened look like you would get in if you look at Google Earth and you look at 3D views of some cities. Then you get that same painted cardboard over-sharpened look that still has good lighting, but it looks over-sharpened. So at this point, notice here, you already have the good sharpening, which has some aesthetic value, but it comes at too great of a cost of reducing the bloom, I think. I think things that are further away should lose some sharpened detail because it's an atmospheric effect in real life. Okay, now here's the next example. Okay, now over here it says ray off, sharp 0. That means reconstruction off on that screenshot, and sharp 0 means that's the DLSS sharpening that's independent of reconstruction. That's like the 0.5 value I showed you earlier. Okay, now pay attention in that screenshot. This area, this white area, and the car. Now next picture, again, reconstruction is off, just 50% more sharpening by the regular DLSS sharpener. Notice it's a really subtle effect that you almost can't even see. Okay, now let's switch it to full sharpening on DLSS. Notice it's still a really mild sharpening. It's really gentle. Now comes reconstruction without any sharpening. Notice how aggressive the sharpener already is. Again, you have the advantage of the lighting, the shadows in those areas up here being more defined. Oh, notice this area starts to look like that Google Earth cardboard. Notice the car gets progressively over-sharpened. More on that, more on that. Notice how the car is, it pops more on the screen because you got more contrast. But it looks like it doesn't fit into the scene because the whole screen looks like some slightly overdone JPEG sharpening. Most modern game engines have a thing that's called depth of field. And it's like literally the job description of this graphics feature is to make stuff that's in the distance look blurrier. Okay, let's go into screenshot mode. See, it's now highly over-aggressive effect right now because it's really blurry around the character. Okay, now however, if you tune it right, let's put the focus distance on the character. And if you reduce the aperture, basically everything's blurry that's outside of the focus. But if you move it slightly away, notice then you get like a really soft depth of field effect. It's like a pixel blur, I think. And that can actually be a beautiful effect in video games. And it directly counteracts what the ray reconstruction sharpening is trying to do. That's why I say a soft, mild blurring at the distance is actually a good thing. And the over-sharpening you get from ray reconstruction, it just gets in the way of the quality of the image.